Here we sit, week 6, ladies and gentlemen, which feels like an impossible task laid out before us, right? Which is to go in and to beat Baltimore at home. It's going to be a hard task. There's going to be a lot the Eagles have to do right with limited personnel to win this football game. With that said, and in that spirit, let's go ahead and let's talk about the keys to victory, guys. What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? This is Stephen Hyder with Gay City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever it is you get around to watching this, guys. Once again, my name is Stephen Hyder, and this is Gay City Sports Channel. All right, guys, today's topic. We're talking about the keys to victory against the Baltimore Ravens, guys. So, I want to do a little job here before we get to tomorrow's game of really walking us through Baltimore's offensive personnel, who they have, and who we need to be mindful of. Okay, before we even go into film breakdown, I do think there's a huge key to the game where I want to show you a little film here, but one of the things we have to be aware of is I do think the Eagles can match up pretty well against Baltimore. Their offense and our defense. I think we match up better than people think. Because to be honest with you, there's really two players that concern me from a huge playmaking standpoint on Baltimore's offense. That's not their quarterback, obviously. Okay? Listen, Marquise Hollywood-Brown. Kid's a stud. He's got a little D-Jacks in his game. I love the way this kid gains separation on comebacks, hitches, out routes, in routes. Like, he looks like D-Jacks the way he can sink his hips and separate from a corner with his elusiveness, right? Definitely. Like, Marquise Hollywood-Brown is a guy that we have to really pay attention to on third down for targets like that. I mean, they'll do a lot of interesting things to get him separation, to get him conversion looks. So definitely, we got to be aware of that, okay? The other guy that bothers me here, and I saw him just absolutely eat up. He ate up Cincinnati's safety last week, guys. Von Bell. So, Mark Andrews on Von Bell was a huge mismatch last week. Conversion after conversion after conversion, especially in the late first half into the second quarter for Mark Andrews. He was just taking Von Bell to school. That concerns me, right? Mark Andrews is definitely one of these tight ends that just kind of came out of nowhere last year, and he's good. He's very much, got that 6'5", 255-ish kind of build to him, that typical tight end build. Like, he gets separation, guys. He gets separation, and he's getting it even against safeties, which is concerning. Okay? Those two guys, absolutely, I think you have to stay keyed in on. And then you got to look at the running back game. I will warn people to be very careful of J.K. Dobbins. I will say some of the younger personnel scares me on this game because it's all about matchups. I think you can do some things to limit some of the other guys, but guys like J.K. Dobbins, guys like Devin Duvernay and James Proche, I think we have to be very careful of having an emergence in a game because I've seen them become very close on film to really breaking things. And they've just, other teams have been really fortunate to keep it in front of them. I get worried about those later guys that could come in and make kind of plays for us, okay? Right off the jump, I'm going to tell you, I expect them to use a lot of pre-snap and post-snap motion. They're going to try to confuse us. They're going to try to cause our defensive ends to lose containment. Watch a lot for the RPOs and the option stuff, guys. I think that Baltimore, what they're going to try to do, simply put, guys, is they're going to try to play a lot of option offense, okay? They want Lamar. They should be putting this ball in Lamar Jackson's hands as an athlete more than anything because I don't think that them dropping back and trying to throw, especially now that we have Will Parks back, I don't think that's going to work to their advantage. I think that can get them in trouble against Philly. But the one advantage they do have over us is being able to throw Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins out there, Gus Edwards, work in off of that on play action to Mark Andrews, getting those looks to Marquise Hollywood-Brown. Like that's they're going to be what they're going to try to do to us. Simply put, in my opinion. All right, guys. At this point, let's flip it over. Let's talk about one of the big keys to this game. All right? To me, it's the largest key to the game. Keeping containment on Lamar Jackson. Stopping this running game with one of the top running defenses in the league right now. Okay? And setting up this team for third and long. Despite what I've seen from a lot of people, if you get them into a third and short, they're going to hit you with some two-back sets. They'll even hit you with 11-man, but it's going to be some option movement stuff with Mark Andrews, and they're going to pull their left guard or their left tackle. They like to do that a lot to get those short yardage. But if you put them in third and long, they go spread a lot. They might even go empty backfield on you, and then they'll try to attack you on third and long, and they've got, this year in particular, they have Lamar Jackson as a pocket passer a lot more than anticipated. And I'll show you that now. All right, guys, this is a third and long play here. 3rd and 7, first possession of the game. You got essentially Baltimore coming out in full spread offense mode, something you wouldn't really expect from Baltimore, right? Empty back set here. They're in 1 personnel, no running back on the field, okay? This is how they're lined up, going from, to me, which is kind of towards the bottom of the screen. All right, they have their X receivers, Marcus Brown, all the way to the bottom there. And then they have a slot in Willie Snead. They have Devin Duvernay kind of in the F slot role beside Willie Snead. And then you got a wide tight end and Mark Andrews a little closer to the formation. On the opposite side of the field, guys, we can see Miles Boykins is kind of playing that Z role, right? The flanker role out there by himself on the island towards the field side, which is a little odd look, but it works. Creating all that traffic, look, it definitely worked. To me, it looks like Cincinnati is basically in what I would call a quarters coverage. It could be cover 2, but I'm going to call that quarters coverage just judging the way the corners and the safeties are working together on this play, and then those 3 underneath defenders. To me, that looks like standard textbook cover, cover 4 or quarters coverage to me. So that's what I'm going to go with here. We can see they're trying to work Mark Andrews. They want to get Mark Andrews open. There's a window there, but they're in quarters coverage. The safety makes a good play, comes over the ball, tries to take it away. Look who they're targeting, guys. Mark Andrews. Know that name. Sunday on 3rd down. Mark Andrews, Marquise Hollywood Brown, we've got to pay attention to, okay? That's probably going to be the 1st and 2nd reads on everything. And then I would be concerned with the younger guys if I'm the Eagles, right? The Devin Duvernays and the James Proshis coming in who are underneath guys that can definitely, they can kill us if we leave that mofo again, middle of the field open. So, boom, right from the jump, guys, this is what I see on film here, all right? Let's go ahead and let's flip it over and let's look at play number 2 I want to show you. Play number 2, there's something I want to talk about before we even get into it, okay? What I'm showing you here is a short yardage down distance thing, okay? 3rd and 1. All right, they're going to come out in 22-man personnel. This is probably what we're used to when we think about, like Baltimore, like 2 back sets, right? They're coming out 22-man personnel, 1 receiver, complete opposite from what we just saw, right? We went from 4 receivers on the field, 1 receiver on the field, okay? They're going to use some pre-snap motion here. Just pay attention and watch that pre-snap motion. To break down who's on the field for you, they got Boykin in here playing because he's a big physical receiver, okay? They bring their lead blocker and their fullback in, who's number 42. I don't know his name off the top of my head, guys. I'm sorry. Number 86 is motion, which is like their, I think, so they put number 86 in motion, which I kind of showed you there. And then they're going to use their right tackle or they're going to basically take number 86, motion him over next to the right tackle as a wing blocker. Okay, so now you're getting this winged formation, right? So you got 42 kind of coming in. He's sitting down kind of off formation, off-centered. And then you got basically your tight end coming down, number 86, who's then sitting down in a wing formation, showing you a heavy set. Then they're going to pull from the left side. I can't tell if it's the left tackle or the left guard they're pulling. I didn't really look at it that closely, guys, but they're pulling there. And you can see, 3rd down, short yardage. Get used to it. This is what they're going to do. They're going to hit you with, Mark Ingram and Gus Edwards in these short yardage situations, right? They're going to use their fullback, which is number 42. Gus Edwards commonly gets confused as their fullback. He's not a fullback. He's just a bigger running back. But 42 is their fullback. This is what we're used to seeing from them. This is what I think Baltimore's going to try to attack us from early in downs. I think they're going to try to use a lot of 2-back sets on us. I think they're going to try to hit us with a lot of motion. I think we got to pay attention, guys. I think teams know that we have been really susceptible across the middle of the field. We have been mofo open entirely too much, okay? We're getting Will Parks back. But now with Marcus Epps out, we still can't necessarily drop in and play coverage like we wanted to. We're not going to play a lot of nickel here. I mean, Kevon Wiles is probably going to definitely get more snaps than he's gotten previous weeks, guys, but I promise you this team's going to challenge the middle of our defense. Promise you, it's coming. One of the biggest keys to me to tomorrow, guys, is going to be this. What can we do to bring pressure on 3rd and longs against this Baltimore Ravens defense? We need to mix in pressure packages from our linebackers, from our safeties. Maybe even incorporate in and bring in some guys like, mixing it up in coverage and not allowing them to know what's going to happen. Because I think Will Parks is a guy you can bounce outside, right? So let them feel safe that Jalen Mills is going to play outside and bring Jalen on a pressure rate, dropping Will Parks back to cover. I definitely think that they should be mixing Will Parks and Jalen Mills definitely up. Rodney McLeod should be coming in on some of these pressure packages. We've got to get after them because when they feel pressure, they're predictable. They'll play 12-man if they're fearing pressure, guys. It's their fall into offensive alignment is 12-man personnel, okay? I want you to show you this play here. They have Gus Edwards in the game right now, who plays a lot for them on third down, probably because he's a bigger physical back, so he can pick up blitzers. They're doing a lot of pre-snap motion here. Why do they do pre-snap motion? Number one, they want to check coverage. Once they can check the coverage, then Lamar Jackson is probably going to determine where the hot route, is going to be here. Where's my hot read? Where am I getting the ball out of my hands to? All right, that's important as a quarterback. What you see here is they got both tight ends in line. So they got Boyle and they got Mark Andrews both in line here. Okay, they know the pressure's coming, and I thought that they were not good at standing up to the pressure, guys. I think Jim Schwartz needs to go ahead and I know Jim Schwartz's MO is not blitzing, but he does it against younger quarterbacks. And I do think you can treat Lamar Jackson to an extent like a young quarterback because he's not a polished pocket passer. The problem is you cannot lose containment on Lamar Jackson. If you bring pressure and you lose containment on Lamar Jackson, he will eat you up because then you're going to have to start spying on Lamar Jackson. It's going to open up the middle of your field again. You're going to be mofo open, and then they're going to move the ball consistently down our throats. But pressure. Key to me, containment and pressure on this young man. We've got to get there. We've got to force them to get the ball out of his hands quickly and to dump off these little 2-yard pickup things that force them into a punt. That has to happen. If he tries to hold it, then you smoke him. But Lamar Jackson, he's not really one to really hold the ball like that. And he hasn't been so far. So I don't anticipate that happening too often in this game, to be quite honest. All right, guys, some final thoughts and some other things I'll bring to the table here about keys to victory. Really, really pay attention to who is in the game as a running back. Okay, they will use heavily on third downs. They will bring Gus Edwards in, okay? We need to be aware of that. He's their short yardage guy at times, okay? He's also a blitz pickupper. He can stand in there and provide a throwing lane for your quarterback, all right? However, this is the player that scares me a little bit because I don't like the matchup on this player, J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins has some elusiveness to him. He's got some shake to him. I'm concerned that they might go empty back set on us with J.K. Dobbins like they were doing to Cincinnati. Cincinnati held up okay because it's got good coverage linebackers. If we get caught with a linebacker on J.K. Dobbins and it's the wrong linebacker, we could be in trouble. And that has got to be, I just want you guys to know that going in here. That J.K. Dobbins concerns, like, don't get me wrong, Mark Andrews concerns me. That matchup with Will Parks or whoever's going to be on him, whether it's Rodney McLeod or whatever, it concerns me. But I do think that, if you got Will Parks, you got Rodney McLeod, I got some faith in our safeties here. Andrews is going to get some receptions. He's going to look good, but we just got to keep him from killing us. We got to keep linebackers off of Mark Andrews. That can't happen in this game or they're going to eat us alive. Of course, I'm worried about Marquise Hollywood-Brown, but that's why we signed Darius Slay. We know that he's clearly their best receiver. That's where Darius Slay needs to be. If he goes to the bench, Darius needs to follow his ass to the bench. Like, not even kidding. Like, I am kidding, but still, like, everywhere. Darius Slay just needs to follow Marquise Hollywood-Brown. I'll take my chances with Boykin and these other guys on Jalen Mills. I think Jalen Mills can hold up there. The other two guys I'll tell you to keep an eye on because they haven't had those big monstrous games, but James Prochy's route running, I've been watching it. I've been paying attention to it. It's pretty good. He's a decent route runner. He's a guy that if we give them the wrong, matchup, we need to be aware. We need LeBlanc and we need Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. Really? Sorry, I went way back there. We need Nickel Roby Coleman to live up to the hype playing in the slot. Okay? We need those two guys to really live up to the hype of playing in the slot for us. Because if they don't, we're going to get eaten alive, guys. There's no doubt about it to me. Those two matchups with Prochy and Devin Duvernay, we need to be careful. Prochy's a really good route runner, and Prochy had a knack for making pretty spectacular catches. We do not let these rookies get momentum, right? Duvernay is like an Emmanuel Sanders to me. He's very good with the football in his hands. I would not be shocked to even see Baltimore do something they do not traditionally do, which is to hit you with jet motions with Duvernay. Use Duvernay for jet motions. Get the ball into Duvernay, and then get the ball into Marquise Hollywood Brown's hands any way they can, testing our containment issues that we've had, because we've had a lot of issues with containment, and that's why teams are eating us up with those things. So I expect those things to happen. To me, those are huge. Those are huge keys to the games. All right, y'all. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. You know how we end these videos, guys. We do a little EAGLES. Guys, this is a winnable game, despite what the media might tell you. This is a winnable football game. We're down on personnel. If you're asking me, Steve, would you bet this? No. No, I would not bet this. But I also recognize that our offense is not matched up very well against their defense, to be quite honest. But at the same time, their offense doesn't match up well against what I think our defense can be. I do think we have the players available with Will Parks back in the lineup to really kind of make this game much closer than what people think it'll be. The real key to me here is not allowing these rookies that you don't have advanced scouting on to beat you like a Devin Duvernay and a Proshi, okay? Do not let them hit you with Mark Andrews and let Mark Andrews eat you up on play action and stuff, right? Shut down that two-back set crap. You're going to have to stop them. They're going to get physical. We're going to have to play physical in return, which means that interior defense needs to live up to the contract that they're getting, those three guys. And then you got to keep Marquise Hollywood Brown from beating you over the top. You just can't let him. You can't let him take over the game and eat you alive. That's where Darius Slay comes into play. I do think that the pieces are here, guys. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm out of here.